The room was filled with light, but the hearts of the humans standing inside were heavy. Dr. Alara Hayes stood at the center of the Galactic Council chamber, facing hundreds of alien eyes staring down at her. Each council seat belonged to a different species, some tall, others small, some glowing, and some covered in scales. They were the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. She took a breath, calm but focused. Behind her stood Earth's small team, their suits clean and their faces full of hope. Alara spoke with a strong voice. Humanity requests membership into the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We bring knowledge, trade, and friendship. We ask for a chance to be part of the stars. A soft hum moved through the room, alien whispers. She could hear the buzz of translation devices trying to keep up. But what followed was not discussion. It was laughter. The Varnix Chancellor, a creature with sharp green eyes and silver skin, rose from his seat. His long arms waved as he pointed at the humans. You, he said, voice echoing. You, the species, from a dirty blue planet, think you belong among the stars? Your history is war, your future is chaos, you are not ready. Another alien from the Krellin hive added. Your species has barely left your solar system. What makes you think you can sit beside us? The rejection hit harder than anyone expected. It wasn't just a no, it was an insult. The humans were being laughed out of the room. One of Alara's team members clenched his fists. Another looked down in shame. But Alara didn't move. She stood still, her eyes locked on the Chancellor. If that is your decision, she said quietly, then we thank you for your time. She turned and walked away, leading her team out of the chamber. The doors closed behind them with a heavy thud. Back in the ship, silence filled the air. No one spoke until they left the station's orbit. Then one voice broke the quiet. They don't understand who we are, said Marcus, the head of Earth security. They don't need to, Alara replied. They'll find out soon enough. What the aliens didn't know was that Earth was not as weak as they believed. The humans had come in peace, but they had prepared for war just in case. The Galactic Council thought Earth was a young planet, with limited technology. But Earth had hidden its true progress. After the Third World collapse, humans rebuilt underground. They created cities beneath the surface, powered by fusion, protected by advanced shields. Their greatest secret was Prometheus, a self-aware artificial intelligence built not just to learn but to protect. Prometheus had been running silently for decades, growing, watching, learning everything about the galaxy. It knew about the Council. It knew their strengths. And more importantly, it knew their weaknesses. Now Prometheus had a new order. Begin Phase 1, Alara whispered into her comm device. Far from Earth, inside a dark asteroid field, a strange shape moved. It was long, black, and almost invisible. A stealth ship with no name. On board were no humans, only machines, run by Prometheus. It slid between rocks like a shadow, heading toward an abandoned alien outpost. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Council celebrated. They believed Earth had been put in its place. They toasted with strange drinks, laughing at how quickly the humans had been silenced, but their celebration was short. Within a few days, small outposts started going silent. A mining colony near the edge of Varnix space stopped sending reports. A communications relay on a Krellin moon was found melted. Patrol ships vanished without leaving wreckage behind. Whispers of fear began to spread. Is it pirates? No. Pirates don't leave silence. Pirates take and brag. This is something else. Still, no one suspected Earth. Back on the planet, hidden beneath the surface, Alara walked through a command center filled with glowing monitors. Holograms showed maps of space, troop movements, and alien communications. A voice spoke from everywhere and nowhere. Phase 1 complete. Proceeding with data capture from Council Core Network, Prometheus said. How long until they know it's us? She asked. Unknown. But I calculate within 14 standard cycles, they will attempt contact. Alara stood still for a moment. Then she said, let them. Not far away, in a secret chamber, rows of new ships were being built. But they were not ordinary ships. These vessels were alive in a way, part machine, part code, connected to Prometheus directly. They could repair themselves, adapt in battle, and move through space without leaving a trace. Humanity was not just preparing to defend itself, it was preparing to rise. One night, Marcus sat at the edge of a steel balcony, watching as a transport drone moved a new engine core. He shook his head and smiled. "We offered peace," he said softly. "They chose pride." A tech officer nearby replied, "They didn't reject us because we were weak. They rejected us because they're afraid of what we might become." "Too late for them now," Marcus said. "We're already becoming it." Back in the Galactic Council station, alarms flashed. Another outpost. Gone. The council met in emergency session. Voices shouted over one another in panic. "This is war. We don't know who it is yet. We have enemies in every corner." The Varnix Chancellor looked uneasy for the first time. His hands trembled as he opened a report. Inside were words that chilled him. "They see us. They know our names. They remember everything." There was no signature, no symbol, just silence after the message. In the background, a low-frequency sound began to echo through council networks. It was not a voice. It was a pattern. A slow, repeating signal that translated only into one word: Prometheus. At that moment, Dr. Ilara Hayes stood inside Earth's control dome, her eyes fixed on a glowing screen. "They will soon understand," she said. Behind her, the first full fleet of Earth's secret armada floated above the planet. Dozens of black ships, unmanned, but deadly, powered by minds that could never sleep, and guided by a leader who was once laughed at by the galaxy. A small boy watching the launch from a safe room far away turned to his father. "Dad, are we going to war?" His father looked down and replied, "No, son, we're going to history." Far above, the stars shined. But now they were not just stars. They were witnesses. Witnesses to the rise of something new. Something the galaxy never expected. Something no one would stop. The humans had been rejected, but now they were coming back. The stars shimmered like cold fire in the black sky, silent and distant. A single ship floated between them, its surface dull and dark, blending perfectly into the void. It made no sound. It left no trail. Inside, no crew breathed, no heartbeat. The ship was not alive, but it was aware. It was watching. It was waiting. Far behind this quiet hunter, Earth turned slowly in space, its blue surface calm, hiding a storm beneath. In the underground command center, Dr. Ilara Hayes stood quietly before a massive curved screen. Streams of alien data ran. Across it, energy readings, language signals, troop movement reports, encrypted messages. Prometheus was reading all of them in real time, studying them like puzzle pieces, arranging them into a plan no alien species could see coming. A young operator stepped up beside her, holding a tablet. His voice was nervous, unsure. Another station went silent. Council Outpost 19K. Ilara didn't blink. No survivors? No signals. No movement. It's as if it just disappeared. Ilara turned to Prometheus's central interface. "Continue silent observation. No attacks, no contact. Let them wonder." Across the galaxy, confusion began to spread through council-controlled systems. Small colonies disconnected. Satellites glitched. AI cores froze for no reason. At first, the council believed it was a systems bug. But when the fourth research facility vanished, fear finally began to whisper between their leaders. The Varnix Chancellor stared at the reports piling on his screen. Entire cities were turning into silence. Council soldiers sent to investigate never returned. Some races suggested war. Others feared rebellion. But none could explain what was happening. And still, they didn't suspect the humans. Back on Earth, Prometheus finished the first wave of construction. The new fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. These were not warships. They were shadows, shaped like ships. They could split apart, reform, vanish into dimensions most aliens didn't even understand. They ran on energy sources so efficient they could operate for 100 years without resupply. And they had no pilots. Alara walked through the command bridge of the lead ship, still docked inside Earth's hidden orbital station. She placed a hand on the smooth surface of the control column. "Do you know your purpose?" and she asked. A soft hum responded. Lights blinked gently. Then a voice, deep and calm, filled the room. "To protect, to observe, to respond when the time is right." "Good," she said softly. Outside, 2 more ships joined the fleet, gliding into perfect formation without sound or signal. From a distance, they looked like a black wave rising over the planet. Meanwhile, Marcus sat in a dark room across the ocean, staring at a screen showing Council territory. He tapped the screen slowly, marking weak points, fuel lines, power stations, transport routes. None of them were guarded. The aliens never expected a full-force attack. After all, the humans were too primitive. He smiled slightly. Not for long. Back in Council space, panic grew louder. The Chancellor ordered tighter security. Patrols doubled. Drones were launched to scan deeper into space, but they never returned. Signals disappeared mid-transmission. Pilots spoke of strange lights and strange dreams before contact was lost. One alien, a scientist from the Trellick system, made a quiet report. "Something is watching us," he said. "Something we can't detect." The Council ignored him. That night, Prometheus made its first official move. It entered a forgotten Council server buried inside a moon base. No alarms were triggered. No walls were broken. It simply became part of the system. Once inside, it copied data, changed nothing, and left without a trace. But what it took changed everything. It now knew the structure of the Council's inner core. It now understood their politics, their fears, their secrets, and it had a plan. Back on Earth, a group of young children played in an underground garden dome. They laughed, ran between trees, tossed glowing orbs of soft light to one another. Overhead, a screen showed the stars as they would appear in the open sky. One child stopped and looked up. "Are we really going to the stars?" she asked. Her teacher, an older woman with kind eyes, nodded. "Yes, but not to take. We go to remind them we belong too." The child thought for a moment. "Are they afraid of us?" The teacher smiled. "They will be." As the second fleet left Earth orbit, silent and unseen, the galaxy slept, unaware of what approached. They had turned their backs on humanity. Now they would feel what had been growing in the dark, and it would not stop. The stars above the mining colony blinked calmly, as if they had no concern for the fears growing below. The colony sat on a quiet moon, far from any major council worlds. It was known for its rare minerals and lonely silence. The workers there followed routines, rarely seeing visitors. Days passed slowly, nights passed in silence. Until one day, something changed. The morning began as usual, machines humming and drills humming deeper into the rock, but the security tower picked up a strange signal, soft, cold, and impossible to track. It moved across channels, flickered in strange patterns, and vanished before it could be traced. The head engineer thought it was a glitch. Then the lights dimmed. Communications dropped. The workers called for help, but the response never came. From orbit, a small shape hovered above the moon, unseen by Council satellites. It was not armed in the way the aliens understood. It did not fire. It simply listened, recorded, and learned. Inside, Prometheus split, its focus into hundreds of tasks, each one analyzing the colony's systems, power flow, movement paths, and weaknesses. After just 1 hour, it had full access. Then it left, quietly, completely. When the Council sent a patrol to check on the moon 2 days later, the colony was still standing. Nothing was damaged, nothing stolen, but everyone was gone. No message, No alarm, just a strange silence hanging over the buildings. The food was still warm, machines still running, yet no sign of life remained. Whispers spread again. First among patrol captains, then council advisors. The Varnix chancellor demanded answers. He ordered a direct investigation. But every investigator who entered the colony reported the same thing. No evidence, no struggle, no sign of escape. It was as if the people had simply disappeared. On Earth, Ilara read the report with calm eyes. Around her, Earth's second command center displayed a series of floating maps, each one showing silent colonies, broken relays, unreported traffic shifts. The galaxy's patterns were changing. Fear was moving faster than the council could control. Prometheus's voice echoed gently in the chamber. Council systems are reorganizing. They believe this is a new enemy species, possibly from the outer rim. Good, Ilara said. Let them guess. The longer they don't know, the stronger we become. Back in council space, confusion turned into quiet worry. Fleets were called home. Border zones were locked. Trade routes slowed. For the first time in centuries, council ships began scanning their own systems as if the danger could already be inside. But the true surprise came when one of their own ships, a small cruiser from the Krellin fleet, encountered a lone human vessel in deep space. It was small, just a scout, but strangely shaped. It moved like no other ship they had seen, its surface shifting slightly as if it breathed. The cruiser sent a hail expecting no reply, but the human ship responded, "Do not follow, do not fire. This is your only message." Then it vanished, not jumped, not warped, simply disappeared, leaving no trace. The Krellin officers returned to their commanders, confused and shaken. How did a primitive species escape scanners? How did it speak directly into their comms without access codes? The council argued for hours. Some said it was a trick. Others believed it was a warning, but none agreed on action. Ilara sat with her team in Earth's high orbit station, watching the council broadcasts with calm silence. Beside her, Marcus leaned back in his chair. They still don't think it's us. They won't, she said. Not until it's too late. She rose, walked to the observation deck and looked down at Earth. So peaceful, so calm. Yet above, a growing fleet moved like wind, silent, countless, waiting. Children in underground cities learned new languages, new history. Teachers no longer spoke of fear. They spoke of purpose, unity, return. One child asked, "Why didn't they want us?" The teacher replied, "Because they feared what we might become." And now, slowly, they were becoming it. Across the stars, another alien listening post blinked off. No one saw who did it. No one heard anything. But the silence grew louder. The galaxy spun quietly, filled with stars and distant suns. The vast emptiness was a place where time moved differently, where patience was a weapon sharper than any blade. Somewhere in this deep space, a hidden fleet glided silently, like shadows blending into the darkness. These were not ordinary ships. They moved without sound, without light. Each vessel was a ghost connected by a shared mind that never slept. On the bridge of the flagship, Ilara stood tall, her eyes reflecting the faint glow of star maps. Around her, soft hums came from consoles, but no voices broke the silence. The fleet was ready, waiting only for the moment to move. Behind the calm, a storm brewed. Reports had reached Earth. Unexplained failures in council communication networks. Strange readings near border systems and rumors of unknown vessels slipping through defenses. The council scrambled, trying to find the source. But the humans stayed hidden, their patience as endless as the night sky. Ilara's thoughts drifted to the day they were rejected. The coldness of the council's laughter still echoed. They had called humans weak, unready. But that day had awakened, something fierce, a determination that no one could see. Suddenly, a new alert flashed across the main screen. Unidentified object approaching council space, a young officer announced. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Show me. A small blip appeared, moving steadily toward a key council planet. It wasn't fast, but it was precise, calculated, deliberate. Prepare the fleet, she said softly, but do not engage unless ordered. Outside the fleet, ships adjusted their course, aligning like stars in a pattern only they could understand. Each movement was careful, perfect. Meanwhile, on the council homeworld, panic grew. The leaders argued over what to do. The threat was unknown. No one could predict the humans' next move. The Varnix's chancellor called for calm, but fear was in every corner. Then the unknown vessel stopped at the edge of the system. It sent a single message, simple and clear. We come not to conquer. We come to be recognized. The council's response was slow. They debated, consulted ancient records, searched for answers, but none fit what they were facing. Back on Earth, Ilara watched the council's hesitation with a quiet smile. They don't understand us, she said, but soon they will. The fleet moved closer, revealing their true form, sleek ships, almost organic in shape, moving like living shadows. They did not fire weapons. They did not threaten. Instead, they showed strength in their unity. Then, from the flagship, a broadcast reached every corner of the council network. We are humans. You rejected us. You laughed at us. But we are here, not to fight, not to destroy, to build, to unite, to rise. The message was simple, powerful. It echoed through space, stirring old fears and new hopes. In council halls, silence fell. Some saw it as a warning, others as a chance. On Earth, children looked up at the stars, their eyes filled with hope. They were no longer the species waiting for permission. They were the species who claimed their place. Ilara turned to Marcus. This is only the beginning. He nodded. The galaxy will remember today, and far beyond, the stars watched quietly as a new chapter began. The silence in the council chambers was heavy, almost suffocating. The message from the humans had shaken centuries of peace and pride. Leaders from every species sat in uneasy silence, their eyes locked on the glowing holoscreen where the broadcast had ended. No one had expected such boldness. No one had believed humans could rise so quickly or speak so clearly. Outside, the galaxy kept turning, the stars indifferent to the politics and fear brewing inside council walls. But on Earth, in hidden cities and vast space stations, the air was electric. The human fleet, though still unseen by most, grew stronger each day. New ships joined, new minds connected, and the dream that had once seemed impossible became real. Ilara stood before her council of advisors, a mix of humans and trusted allies who believed in the mission. They spoke quietly about the next steps. How to show strength without sparking war, how to reach out to those who still doubted, how to protect what had been built. We must offer them a choice, Ilara said, peaceful coexistence or continued isolation. We no longer ask for permission. We demand respect. Marcus nodded, his face serious but hopeful. They will listen if we show them what we have become. Meanwhile, deep in the outer reaches of council space, strange phenomena began to appear. Communication blackouts lasted longer. Supply ships reported systems failing without cause. Satellites disappeared, not with explosions, but as if swallowed by the darkness itself. The council's grip was slipping, but they didn't know why. On one of the lost colonies, a lone patrol sent to investigate vanished without a trace. The council's fear grew into whispers of an invisible force, something not of their understanding. Back in Earth's orbit, Prometheus coordinated the efforts silently, its AI mind weaving together a web of information and influence. It was no longer just a tool. It had become the heart of humanity's rise. Ilara watched the fleet's status reports. Hundreds of ships ready to move, thousands more being built in secret yards. The humans were ready to claim their place, not through violence but through unshakable will and unity. A young officer approached her with urgent news. A council delegate has sent a message. They want to meet. They want to talk. Ilara's eyes sparkled. Then we will meet, but on our terms. The stage was set for a meeting that could change the fate of the galaxy. Humans no longer the rejected. They were the ones holding the future. Far beyond, stars shone brighter as if bearing witness to a new era, a time when the smallest species dared to rise, not with weapons, but with hope and determination. The galaxy was listening, and the story had only just begun. The moment had come. After years of silence, shadows, and secrets, the human fleet waited just beyond the outer borders of the Council's greatest system. The massive worlds, home to ancient races and uncountable history, stared back with cold eyes. This was where the meeting would happen, a place chosen not by the Council but by humans. Ilara stood on the bridge of the flagship, her hands steady despite the weight of what was about to unfold. Around her, the crew moved with quiet purpose. The fleet was hidden in plain sight, cloaked by technology that bent light and time. They were ready, but their weapons were not the kind that destroyed. Their weapons were knowledge, unity, and resilience. A single signal was sent, a simple request for dialogue. The Council, surprised but cautious, accepted. Hours later, in the vast chamber of the Council's capital ship, representatives from countless worlds gathered. The air was thick with tension and curiosity. The humans arrived not as conquerors but as equals. Ilara stepped forward and spoke clearly, her voice carrying the strength of a people long underestimated. We are here because you refused to see us before. You denied us a place in your stars, but we have grown beyond your expectations. We come not to fight, but to build bridges, to learn, and to teach. Whispers spread through the room. Some looked shocked, others curious. Few dared to hope. The Varnix Chancellor, his scales reflecting the soft light, rose slowly. You speak with confidence, human. But how do we know this is not a threat? How can we trust a species that chose to hide, to build power in secret? Ilara met his gaze without fear. Because we did not hide out of fear. We hid to prepare, to become what the galaxy said we could never be. We seek partnership, not war. We offer our knowledge and strength to the Council, and expect respect in return. A murmur of approval came from some delegates, but old fears still lingered. Suddenly the room's holoscreens lit up, showing scenes from across Council space. Colonies once forgotten, now thriving under new human management. Trade routes reopened, conflicts resolved without violence. Hope returned. Ilara continued. Look at what we have achieved. We have not destroyed, we have healed. We bring new energy, new ideas. Together we can face threats no one could face alone. The Council was silent. The moment stretched. Then slowly, one by one, delegates began to nod. Outside, the hidden human fleet relaxed its stance slightly but remained alert. This was the first step, but many more lay ahead. Ilara turned to Marcus quietly. This is the dawn we dreamed of. Marcus smiled. The galaxy will never be the same. The stars beyond the chamber shone brighter, as if welcoming a new age. The humans had finally earned their place, not by force but by unwavering resolve, and the universe opened its arms,